Perry Pencil.
Hello, this is Perry Pencil, and yes, we have another addition to the Marvel Avengers Infinity War. Thanos' daughter? Yes. Gamora. Let's jump on it. Now, let's start off by putting a border at the top. In all of my tutorials, I usually want to go ahead on and suggest that only because you want to make sure that the top of the character's head don't go off the page. Then divide the page in half. That way you can work from left to right. Let's go ahead and start off with a nice size oval shape. That oval shape should take up just about half of the page. Once completed, go ahead on and make a nice oval shape for the neck. And we're going to go ahead and measure the head from top to bottom. Slide down for the chest with the index and thumb. Mark it off with the thumb. And that's where her chest is going to be. Her shoulders are slightly slanted to the right. This pose is going to be a bust high pose, and we're throwing in the hanger shaped shoulders, which is triangular, and because they're slanted, that gives her the illusion or the as if she's walking towards the camera. That's what we're going for. You can go ahead and put the nice size oval for the top portion of her body, then put an oval shape for her shoulder, both right and left. Notice that I put a line across from either one to just make sure that they're both evenly shaped. And then you can have her arms go right off the page because we don't see the rest of her body. Now we're going to deal with her hair. Then we're going to go ahead and put in her temple lines. We'll go ahead and put the outer contour of her face. Now with her hairline, she has a part down the center of her head. I'm going to go ahead and time lapse and begin putting the facial features in. Then you put her eyebrows in, middle for the eye. That way it shows the distance between the two. For her eyelashes, she's a female, so you want to curve them and have them come in to a point on either side on the outside of her face. Now you want to make her eyelashes a little thicker than you would a male character, because typically females' eyelashes are a lot thicker. We're going to go ahead and put her eyes in. She's looking upward. Put a little space underneath there so we can see it clearer. Now for her nose, I'm going to put an upside down triangular shape, and right at the edge of the eyes is what determines how the width of the nose is going to be. And she is smirking, so the left side of her nostril is going to be slightly higher than the right side. And for her mouth, we're going to go ahead and come off the edge of the corners of her nose and run those lines down. That way you can determine the width of the mouth and how wide it should be. She does have dimples, so put the curves on the outside of her lips. And the corners of her mouth, add those in there. I'm going to clean up with the eraser really quick. and make her chin just a little bit more slender. Now for her lips, you can go ahead almost full shadow, sketch them in, and because it will appear she does have green, like a green colored lipstick on to offset her green skin. Now, Gamora has these interesting little, it looks like almost kind of like computer type chips or designs on her face. So when I'm sketching it now, they have various shapes. So usually what I usually like to suggest when it comes to complicated shapes or shapes that don't have a name in particular is to pause the video if you need to, and go ahead on and just kind of get a closer look at it while it's paused. Now, the part in the middle of her head, and I'm going to use my my 2B pencil here and start to flesh out her hair a little bit. Typically when you're drawing hair, you want to let it flow, so you want to get your directional lines going. If you notice on the right side, I have the top hair or strand of hair that curls over to the right, and then the third and fourth down to the shoulder. Kind of the same thing on the left side, but it's going to be slightly different because hair behaves that way, especially when it's kind of blowing in the wind and she's walking forward, and you want to give the illusion that her hair is kind of going with her walking. Now we put her neck in. It's just simply 2 lines down to the line that I put for that triangular shape for the shoulder. Then you want to add just more strokes of hair. So we'll go ahead and put the collar in right to left. If you notice, it's actually an oval shape, and then it comes down to a V shape right just below the circle that we put in earlier. These are things that you can put in place when you're drawing. It's almost like a map that helps you help guide you with each shape that you do when you're working on drawing a character, or anything, or clothing or things like that. So just fleshed out a little bit more strands here, cleaning it up a little bit more, because now I'm going to start putting in some of the detail of Gamora's outfit here. So I'm going to focus on what she's wearing on her upper body. It's like a vest. So you want to go ahead on right in the middle of the shoulder, and if you notice, I have a half octagon shape, and then comes down to an angle on a point, and then if you look at the corners and the way they're shaped, I have a diagonal line from right to left, so that that's actually the outfit kind of going on an angle here. As she's walking, she's shifting her weight from left to right. Then put those lines in, and they create a triangular shape within that. And these two lines I'm doing, I will call those almost like an hourglass. If you know what an hourglass, this is kind of the shape that I'm going for here, right in the center. And then she has these lines that is in front of her outfit, and then on the outside of the vest she has shoulder pads that I'm putting dividers on here. Now with this piece here, this is dealing with her bust area. So what you want to do is curve that out a little bit, and then underneath put her rib cage in. That goes off the page. And here I'm going to sketch in, she has these designs, look like octagon shapes that are on this outfit, and she has a bunch of them. So we'll get back to the rest of that a little later. I'm going to put the rest of the border of her shoulders in. And she is sleeveless here. So here, if you notice, I went around to the shoulder and cut in right where the line is. And I'm going to do the same thing for left side. And of course, because she's walking, her arms on the right it's going to be swinging in, and on the or in the left rather than on the right, the arms are going to be swinging outward a little bit away from her. And here I'm going on in and cleaning up the lines, the foundation lines here, so that we can get a clearer image of Gamora here without all the lines in the way. Now with my mechanical pencil, I'm going to go in and add detail here. And this is just redefining what's already there. What makes the drawing process better and less of a headache is going back in with your eraser, cleaning things up. That way you can go back in and put what's in your mind and just make it clearer without going over top of pencils that's already there and smudged, or you rub your hand over it, things like that. So notice constantly throughout the tutorial, I'm constantly going in and checking things with my eraser, cleaning it up and refining and going back in. This is just my technique. It's not a rule of the thumb, but I do encourage other artists as you're learning to clean your art up as you go along, because you can tend to get lazy. If you labor long enough in a drawing, you don't want to go back and you'll just kind of leave things muddy. I've done this many times, not finished or not cleaned up enough and say it's good enough and that's it. So here I'm cross-hatching the design that's actually in between her, the vest that she's wearing, and then erasing out the lines because they don't overlap one another. They're all one piece. And of course putting, definitional lines in the center here where the bust is. And then I'm going to go ahead and add on all these little pieces that she has. It looks like little diamond shapes here on her outfit. Now I just want to throw this in here just for a tip. When you're doing things, especially whether it be in comic book illustration, and the difference between that and portrait or photographic art is you're matching it, every line is matched to what you're drawing. In this particular case, these shapes that I'm putting on here are not particularly 100% matched. So what that does is that gives you as the artist the creative freedom to give interpretation. Many comic book artists do it, I do it, and pretty much your eyes will make up the rest of it. I'm gonna go ahead and add, this is a part of her hair. Then we're gonna do a little bit of shading. Up under here, just shade this in. If you notice, I'm doing some hatching, and the hatching is going just in the same direction. It makes it look a little cleaner when you do that. Same thing on her left side. Notice I have my hand fixed in the same position. And then using the side of the pencil here and there to give it a little bit of softness, a little bit of texture to the hair. And you want to add little strokes here and there. Again, using the side of pencil for soft tones. Going back in here, refine these shapes a little bit here. And here, at this point in the illustration, here's where you make your final decisions. If you want to correct something, if you don't agree with the way something looks, there's nothing wrong with going in and finalizing things. Watching. Please subscribe by pressing this round button at the bottom. Also, click on one of the 2 top videos at the top. Please like this video, tell a friend, and share it on Facebook. Thank you.